Welcome back to the show, nerds, and Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
If we have
Happy
timed
holidays.
this correctly, you are watching this episode of Nerdherfers on Christmas Day.
Actually,
Actually, here we go.
Actually.
stop watching this and go spend time with your family.
Okay, but
That's right.
Watch us tomorrow.
My presumption is they already did that.
That's true.
They've already been fed up with the family. They're
right.
like 2-3 drinks in and thinking, you know what?
We need a
Let's
comedy
turn
relief.
on Nerdherfers.
That's
yeah.
right. All right, I can
so
get on
this
board.
is the Christmas episode of Nerdherfers. Thanks for joining us. I am Larry Brantley along with Micah Donahoe
Greetings, programs.
and Brent Williams. That's all we get on
I was
Christmas
miming.
Day
I was being a mime this time.
Is that what you were doing?
It was brilliant. I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Marcel Marceau.
Yeah.
Your movements are a treasure.
By the way, we should also say, not only is this our Christmas episode, but this is our last episode of the year.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Naturally, it'll be in December 25th.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll pick up. I don't know if we want to
This
start.
is technically the end of season 1.
It is.
Yeah.
What?
Crazy,
Yeah.
right? They said it wouldn't last.
Yeah.
And it probably won't. But who cares?
We'll see if there's another season.
Well, hopefully there's another season.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll discuss if we're going to pick up in January or we're going to take a month off or.
A hiatus, as it were.
Yeah, you know, like the stars do.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. We're going to
Figure
go
it
to
out.
Grand
We'll figure it out.
Cayman and hang out for a month and smoke Cuban cigars.
That's right.
Live on a beach somewhere.
Having jams in our glasses.
We're going to do none of that. So, hey, thanks for being with us on the Christmas episode. If you've never joined Nerdherfers before, let me tell you how the show works. Basically, every week, one of us brings a cigar for us to review, one of us brings a bottle of whiskey for us to try, and one of us brings the topic of conversation that we are going to nerd out about. If you would like to be a member of Nerdherfer Nation, all you have to do is go to nerdherfers.com, hit the subscribe button. We're also on the YouTubes. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. You'll be first to know whenever we're dropping a new episode. We're going to have, in the coming year, we're going to have some members-only stuff for you. We've got a cool merch store. We are connected with Cigar International. All of the cigars that we highlight here on the program are available through our website. Go to our website and
Wait,
get that cigar.
Larry, where should they go?
They should go to our website.
I'm thinking our lives.
And get
Okay,
that
our
cigar.
website.
And I've got a good one tonight because it was my turn for cigars.
Word.
Yeah, so we're going to do that. And so that's how the show works. And now I've said all the promo stuff. So let's get into a little segment on the program that we like to start off with called...
I try to dial it back.
You saw it. It's nerd news. It's last week's news today. And we go, as always, to our anchor person, Brent Williams, who's always got some cool little tidbits of nerd information for us. Brent, what do you got for us this week?
Well, have you guys seen the 28 Years Later trailer yet?
Yes!
Oh, my
No.
goodness.
Yes!
Oh, my goodness. So two things I want to point out. Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's like in everything now.
He is.
Yeah.
I guess he's the hot dude in Hollywood right now because
Yes.
he is in literally like
He is
he's
in
going to have like
everything.
3 or 4 movies out at the same time.
Craven.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
Including Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's like,
Right.
he's like
Yeah.
maybe 45 characters in Marvel.
Remember
Right.
when he was the nerdy kid in Kick-Ass?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was watching that trailer and I noticed something. There's a part of that where this zombie rises up out of the
Yes,
ground.
yes.
And guess who it looks like?
Looks like Cillian Murphy.
Looks like Cillian Murphy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So 28 years later, didn't turn out so good for him.
All right. Well, there's no confirmation it's actually him. I'm just saying
It does look a lot
it
like
looks
him.
a lot like him.
Actually,
Yeah.
it looks a
Actually.
lot like him.
Yeah. Okay, here's something really cool. There's a musician and tutor at Oxford College that has recreated, and he says with 100% accuracy, songs and instruments from ancient Greece. Like 450 BC type, right?
Wow.
Okay.
And they did this through, written works they found, inscriptions, physical artifacts they found in archaeological digs.
Or archaeological. If you're from
Archaeological.
Texas.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Archaeological
Kentucky.
digs. Yeah. But basically, so they found an actual song with words, and there were little characters above the words. And so basically, the Greeks had figured out a rudimentary understanding of intervals in music. So they were able to actually faithfully recreate the music.
Nice.
So I'm going to play that for you right now.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
okay.
Here's
Really?
a little snippet.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, let's go.
A song is final, made in hollow solitude.
that sucked.
So
It sounded a little like the Carpenters.
They weren't really good at that, were they?
after that instrument, they recreated that instrument. It's a 7-stringed instrument, and I guess tuning wasn't a thing back then. I don't know. But however, I have to tell you, after listening to that and some other examples several times, I understand why all Greek plays were tragedies.
Yeah. Yeah. They just,
Come on. Now you say my puns are bad?
the banjo hadn't been invented yet, guys. There was not a lot of upbeat. And let's face it, basically everything was trying to kill them.
Yeah.
It was a rough time.
It's reflected in their music and therefore reflected in their written works.
And they're like, let's just off ourselves and wait till the next generation comes and put some, Jimi Hendrix in this.
Ooh, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you in the Greek era?
Yeah.
I was just a itch in my daddy's pants.
No, you weren't. Not
even
that.
then, because your daddy wasn't.
Your daddy wasn't an itch in your granddaddy's
I was
pants.
an itch in my great.
Yeah, okay. This is like a couple thousand years ago. So anyway, okay. Again, mad scientists in the world. I love these things.
Me too.
Clone Robotics has successfully built a robot they call the Clone Alpha. And what's interesting about this one is it has synthetic biological systems, including muscle systems.
Does it look like
including
Tamara Morrison?
Arterial systems.
Whoa.
Did you guys ever watch the remake of Westworld?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Oh, my.
The inside of those things.
Ooh.
It's extremely creepy.
There's an intro to a TV show that I could not get enough of, where
Yeah.
it was weaving the body
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
So they have a little teaser video out, and it's a very creepy video, and it's obviously CGI and a dude dressed up, because they are actually starting to take pre-orders for the first 279 of their production units. Pre-orders open in 2025, however, and no price disclosed yet. However, everyone is skeptical because they have yet to show this thing in action.
Mm-hmm.
So
I saw Westworld and I saw Future World. It does not end well.
No.
yeah, it does not.
Definitely not. I saw the original Westworld with
too.
Yul Brynner.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the one I'm talking about.
It really doesn't end well.
Yeah. So, so be skeptical. If you're interested in owning your own robot that looks like a human, I would just say be skeptical.
It'll kill you.
Yeah, eventually.
definitely
kill you.
By the way,
It'll
have
show
you
something
not
different.
seen the movies yet? They
Yeah.
all kill you.
They all kill you.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. That's
All
it for
right.
this week's edition of Nerd. We're making fun of Micah because he always goes over the top when he hears the yay.
I love it.
And we said something, and he's
Now I'm all
conscious.
self-conscious.
He's conscious about it. So
Yeah.
anyway, thanks for tuning into this episode of Nerd News. And now it's time to get to the good stuff. Like I said, every week, one of us brings a cigar for us to try. One of us brings a bottle of whiskey. One of us brings the topic of conversation. And if this, of course, is the Christmas episode, and you know it's the Christmas episode because I am wearing a cardigan. That is how you know. Well, and then also there's some decorations above
Also, you
my
kind of
head.
match Micah.
If it was me, then it's a Tuesday.
That's fair. Yes. If it's Tuesday, it must be Micah's cardigan.
I'm just wearing a fleece pullover because I don't own cardigans.
Well,
I have two.
time to grow up. I also have two cardigans.
Yeah?
One of them I got in Italy.
Mine's charcoal and one of them's brown. I got mine on Amazon.
Oh, nice. Amazon, or as the Italians say, Amazon. All right. It was my turn to bring the cigars this week. Now, if you tuned in to last episode, you know that we smoked a very, very, very dark cigar.
DAURK.
Yes,
Yeah.
that Brent brought us from Espinosa. And I thought that this week we would flee in the opposite direction. Also because it's a little bit in keeping with the Christmas theme that we've got going on here. This week we are smoking a cigar from a factory called Aladino in Honduras.
Yep.
I've had the good pleasure to meet and befriend a guy named Justo Eroa from the Eroa family. He's the guy who founded Aladino. Was really the guy who got me liking Honduran cigars, because before that I was kind of a Nicaraguan snob. But I know for a fact that you guys are going to enjoy this, because I know for a fact that you guys enjoy Candela cigars.
Yeah.
And this is the latest one from Aladino. It is called the Aladino Candela. I was waiting for somebody to finish that.
I think.
Yeah.
This is the Toro size. Now, what you'll notice about this is the color. It is a light green color. And I'm just going to real quick tell you that a Candela is simply a way of creating a wrapper leaf. So many different types of wrapper leaves can be Candela cigar. You know about the fermentation process for tobacco leaves. What they do to get this color is they do a flash
Fermentation.
What they do is a flash fermentation. Okay. And so what that does is that holds the chlorophyll in the tobacco leaf, and that's why the green color, because Christmas, it's green.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I actually didn't know that.
And since many different types, and this is going to make you happy too, since many different types of tobacco leaves can be Candela, this Candela leaf just happens to be Corojo. Oh. So I'm going to hand one of those to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
And one of those to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And one of these to me, sir. And let's just get going on this because this obviously, because it's a Candela, well, not obviously to everybody. A Candela is going to be a mild to medium bodied cigar. It can still be, medium to medium plus in terms of flavor. You're thanks, buddy. Just trying to educate our audience, and you're doing that. That's super cool. Appreciate you.
I thought it was funny.
You're that dude in church.
Yeah.
You do you.
Opening the butterscotch.
Oh.
So
Ooh, it smells so planty.
you're gonna
It
get
smells so
you're gonna get
grassy.
a lot of grass and a little bit of floral, and
You're absolutely
very,
right.
very, very nice.
There's like almost a hint of lavender.
Yeah, this is nothing at all like what we smoked last week.
No.
At all.
I love a good Candela, though.
As do I.
I feel like I should go make us some espressos or something.
Yes. Yes. But instead, we're going to have whiskey. But first, I'm going to cold draw that.
I'm not. I'm
It's
just
a very easy draw.
I'm toasting and going in.
All right,
He
here we
said,
go.
F the draw.
Well, he didn't say F in his mind. That almost sounds like a machine.
I don't know what that was.
That's the heater kicking
It's
on.
my
That's what that is.
vibrator.
Oh.
I apologize.
He's got one of those remote controlled ones that's attached to Brent's phone.
So I hope everybody's
The
having a
episode's
really
gonna
fun
get
time
real
tonight. It's really good.
Wow. I did not see that coming.
Larry, I just want to compliment you on the cigar. It's so good.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it's so good. Wow. Oh, it's so good.
I don't even know what this cigar tastes like yet.
Am I on the right show? I feel like I'm not in the right place right now.
Not everybody celebrates Christmas the same way.
So lots of. Oh man, it's gonna be a long show. So I'm getting lots of fresh cut grass,
Yeah.
very, very bright and mild. There's a creaminess that I'm getting to this.
I have to say too, of all the Candelas I've smoked, this is probably the lightest and mattest. Is that a word? You know, a matte color.
Yeah.
How it's real subdued. That's what this.
The color is a little more subdued on this one. I've smoked some Candelas that are bright green,
Yeah.
to the point where you would have thought that maybe they'd introduce some dye or something, but they don't. That's just what happens in the flash curing process.
Very, very grassy. I'm getting like these very, very small hints of like lavender, rosemary, but it's so far on the back end.
Yeah.
And white pepper.
I'm getting a little bit of a peppery, like a spicy pepper.
Yeah,
White.
so I didn't talk about the entire makeup of the cigar. So this is a Honduran puro. So all of the tobaccos in this cigar are grown in Honduran soil. So that is a true Honduran cigar, the Aladino Candela. If you've never had a Candela before, this is a great one to start with. But I'm a little parched.
Yeah, I feel like we need something to drink with this.
Yeah, Micah, what do you got?
Something distinctively not Christmas.
Okay.
Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Okay, so I have to show this.
It looks very Beetlejuicy.
And the reason is
it's in a
because
Sephora bag.
we're not promoting Sephora today.
Oh no!
Oh, no. All right.
It's the latest whiskey from MAC Makeup.
It's whiskey bubble bath.
So what's funny?
It's a whiskey bubble bomb or bath bomb.
a bubble bomb.
Drop the whole thing in.
Let's go with that. So typically what I do is I bring my TX whiskey bag with all of my stuff, and it hides whatever whiskey I'm bringing for the week. Today, I did not have anything tall enough to fit this. There wasn't even a wine bag that fit this.
Wow.
So I have like portioned some wrap paper.
So you MacGyvered the shit out of it.
I did with a rubber band.
Rubber band. Where's the paper clip?
It's always a paper clip.
All right. So the big reveal.
Yeah, this is going to be sexy as hell. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just,
yes.
woo! Yeah. All right.
I recognize the name already.
Did you see it?
Yeah, sorry.
So you've had it.
I have.
All right.
Oh,
well, here we
I
go.
didn't see it. Let's
All
go.
right, so this is something that I've never, ever had before. Today, we have for you the Indri Trini, the 3-wood single malt Indian whiskey.
Indian whiskey.
I have never...
It's Indri, by the way.
Indri.
Indri.
You said Indiri.
You did say that.
You did say Indiri.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
You did say Indiri.
So... Yes, and...
You suck at improv, dude.
Yeah, I do. I was good at one time. Okay.
Ooh,
See
pretty.
what we've got here. All right. I have words. Hold on. Really tall.
It's maybe too tall. Yeah,
Yeah, too tall.
I think if you said it there, no one will see your face.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's way too tall. Here, we'll just put that right about there. Okay.
Get your microphone out, buddy.
Come on, Dad.
I could do it.
I can do it on my own.
Sure you can, son.
All right.
Look what I could do.
So, this is the Indri Trini, the 3-wood single malt Indian whiskey. This has over 15 awards since 2022. They use the classic 6-row Indian barley grown in Rajasthan. Indian.
Rajasthan. Hmm?
For hundreds of years, the same location.
Wow.
It's manually harvested and hand-selected for malting. It is the number 17 whiskey of the year from Whiskey Advocate.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
Their malts are matured in ex-bourbon, ex-French wine, and ex-Pedro Jimenez sherry casks, the 3 woods.
That
Nice.
Pedro Jimenez was what that TX was finished.
It was.
Yeah, finished in. Yeah.
It was. There's no age statement. It's 92 proof.
Okay.
Let's get this party started.
Let's do it.
Let's give him 10 minutes to get that wrapped up.
Can you play some like fun music?
It's like a clown show.
That or
That was Monty Python.
Lethal Weapon too.
That was Lethal Weapon. Yeah.
Was it?
All right. Are we ready?
Yeah.
That was a good sound.
That was a
a
good
little
one.
bit deeper timbre.
Way to
there.
go.
little
Indri.
deeper.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you Brent's Glencairn. We're drinking the single malt whiskey tonight out of our
Hold that for a second.
crystal etched Glencairn glasses. Thank you. All right.
Ooh, did you hear that?
I did.
All right, slow down there. There you go.
Easy, man. You're not pouring for Larry, for God's sake.
That's right.
Thank you, sir. Oh, I like the color on that.
Yeah.
So they do not give an age statement on this, you said?
Nope.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, it's got to be at least 3 years, right?
No, because it's made in India. So I don't actually know what the standard is for whiskeys in India.
So from what I've been able to deduce, there is none. So apparently when you're making a Scotch whiskey, the rule is 3 years.
Right.
But
Yes.
they don't have for this one. So let's get it.
That's got quite the nose on it.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I'm getting a lot of dried fruit.
Citrus, lemony citrus.
Yeah. Citrus,
No, not lemon.
pineapple.
Pineapple. That's what
It's
it is.
almost tropical,
Yeah.
right?
All right, I'm going in.
Let's go. Oh.
Kind of grabs you by the bobo, don't it?
That's got a kick to it.
It does have a little bit of kick. It's warm. It's still warming.
Ooh, that's lingering. With
I'm getting a
with
very-
a hard G at the end.
I'm getting a very interesting aftertaste of like anise.
Okay.
Am I the only one getting that? Like the
No,
aftertaste?
you're not.
It's not anise for me.
I'm getting some raisin. Yeah, there's a. You all right, Brent?
You know that scene in Dumb and Dumber where the motorcycle cop pulls him over and takes a sweet
Oh,
bottle,
yeah.
and he starts going.
Been drinking a little bit of Grandma's special juice, have you?
Yeah, and he starts making that face and starts going. Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I think of this one.
I think I need to get into it a little bit more.
Yes, I agree.
Because surprisingly, the second sip was harsher than the first, which is very unusual.
Yeah. I'm going to try this with a little bit of water.
Think
You
we
know
would
what?
Shove a rock in here or something?
It's not quite Rocktown. Now, come on.
No, nothing
Not
is
at all.
Rocktown
No.
except Rocktown.
I'm actually enjoying this. I'm just
I'll
saying
have some as well,
it does have there is a the finish is just kind of harsh.
Yeah, it's almost like
It's like it hasn't been aged very long at all.
there's an acidity to it. I think that's
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
getting
what-
on the anise. I think you did definitely want to put some water here. Let me take yours.
I'll take 2, sir.
2, please. Do it. Doink. Was that enough for you?
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Give that a swirl.
It's unusual we went for water this fast. Usually we get through a glass and then we're like, let's try it with something else.
I know a lot of people that really prefer a flavor like this.
Well, this is 92 proof, you said? Mm-hmm. 92? Okay.
So the water has taken that sort of after bite
yeah.
away.
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, definitely have this with water. I bet this would be really good on the rocks.
Yeah.
Well, we might could try that later. We need to move to whiskey glasses.
this one's
but
got
I'm,
a lot of-
I'm not opposed to that.
This
Lot
has
of
got some
legs.
really decent
Did
legs
you
on
see
this
that?
one.
I was just looking
Yeah.
at those, and I was like, okay, so it's a high sugar content, which may account for a few of the flavors that we're getting in there.
Yeah.
But I'm also getting like burnt, like a burnt brown sugar.
Yeah, I
kind of.
want to
Yes,
say like
exactly.
a caramelized pineapple.
Burnt brown sugar is what I'm getting.
Well, we're off and running with the Aladino Candela from Honduras and the Indri Single Malt Indian Whiskey from, wait for it, India. Yeah, that's where that's from. And because it is the Christmas episode, Brent, what are we talking about tonight, buddy?
We're going to talk about our favorite Christmas movies.
Let's go!
Here's how I want to do this.
Okay.
I said top 5.
Yes.
Let's say top 3 and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have copious notes on
Wait,
the movies I
can
selected.
it just be holiday or does it have to be Christmas?
What did he say?
I said Christmas.
He said Christmas.
Okay, call.
By the way, you said Christmas earlier today before we ever got here, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the word that you used. And that is because I'm an actor and I follow direction well. Those are the those
And
are the
I'm
movies
not an
that
actor, and Larry's pointing me out to me.
I don't know what you're saying, Micah.
It's all right.
Because you're
He's just mumbling because he's upset.
Mumble, mumble, mumble.
All right, so let's do it this way. Let's do. We'll do it this way. Let's do top 3, starting with your third favorite. We'll work our way up to number 1, and then, like I said, I have copious notes on the movies that I selected.
Okay.
And you may be called on to defend your answer.
Fair.
All right.
Okay.
So, Micah, let's just start with you, babe. Number 3 for you.
All right. Number 3 will be, because you guys have given this a lot more thought than I have.
I was going to say,
I worked my way.
obviously,
so I have to
obviously, you prepared for this episode.
I'm just going to go ahead and say that I have worked my way through like the gamut of Christmas movies since Christmas movies happened. There are a bunch of obvious ones that I really, really like. I don't think that I've ever really tried to rank them. I have them all lined up and ready to go when I'm ready to watch Christmas
it's Christmas
movies.
time, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
after Thanksgiving, it's time to get rocking on them. All right, so I don't know if I'm going to commit to this top 3, but I'll say that my first one is going to be Santa Claus the movie.
The Tim Allen?
No, that's the Santa Claus.
Right.
This is called Santa Claus the movie.
This is the Richard Donner one.
Yes, it is. Came out shortly after Superman did,
Yep.
and they used a lot of the same technology that they used in the first Superman movie with Santa Claus. And it's got Dudley Moore and John Lithgow.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Wow.
Are you familiar with this movie?
I've seen it, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
I'm pretty sure it's 1985.
Okay.
So basically, what happens? It starts off with Mr. and Mrs. Claus. They are working their way through a snow-covered Scandinavian landscape, and Uncle Claus, as they call him, works his way through the towns and brings hand-carved gifts to each of the children every year. And what happens is that this particular year, they get caught in a blizzard so bad that their two reindeer, which I think are Donner and Blitzen, and Miss Claus and Mr. Claus, they pass out from basically the beginning of hypothermia. And all of a sudden, they're woken up and they're saved by elves, who then take him to the North Pole and say, this is your new job.
So they enslave Santa Claus?
Pretty much.
Wow.
I mean, when I went back and watched it again this year, I was watching the show and I was watching it, and he didn't have a choice. He said, you're going to give presents to the world, and they explain how he's going to do it, and time moves with you. And,
wow.
And everything.
Dudley Moore plays the head elf, right?
No, he actually plays an elf called Patch.
Patch, okay.
And there is a head elf, and I don't know what his name is, but I've seen him in things. He's old.
Yeah.
There's an ancient elf that's played by Burgess Meredith.
Oh, of course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And
I definitely haven't seen this movie. I remember everything I've seen with Burgess Meredith. Yeah. He's hard to miss.
He is. Except he doesn't grumble his ancient elf lines. He delivers them in a very soothing way. It's wonderful. Anyway, so he works his way through the centuries. It actually shows you as he goes through the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries. They show scenes where some kid in the 18th century sends Santa a letter that says that we have this cat, and my brother just torments the hell out of this cat, and he picks on me and everything. And then Mrs. Claus is like, that kid should not get a present.
Naughty list.
And then Santa says,
starts,
then you're going to start saying that only Santa only gives presents to the good little boys and girls. And Mrs. Claus says, isn't that the way it should be? And he goes, all right, Dooley, make a list. And Dooley's the name of the head elf.
And I'm going to check it twice.
And he said, you make a list of those that are naughty and nice. And Dooley, I'll be checking it twice. And then it moves forward into like the 19th century where like they've written a poem about me. And he's very excited. And they start to read it in front of all the other elves. And he goes, and he starts going through, he had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. And Santa goes, what? He goes, read that last part again. He goes, he had a broad face and a little round belly. Anyway, so he gets to that and he goes, everybody starts snickering, and Mrs. Claus looks at him and goes, it's the cookies. Anyway, so fast forward into the 80s, and that's when the main storyline takes place.
Right. Okay. So something, a little aside here. So in our Rankin Bass episode, I made a comment about how I read something about how Coca-Cola had invented Santa Claus, right? And Larry poo-pooed me before I even finished the sentence.
Larry does that.
Yeah. However, so I went back and I double-checked. So the late 19th century, it was Coca-Cola and another guy. They actually did reinvent the American Santa Claus. Like up until that time, it was Father Christmas and the robes and blah, blah, blah. They turned him into the jolly old fat guy with the white beard and the red suit and everything.
Okay.
And it was to sell more things, specifically Coca-Cola at that point. So they did. They took an amalgam of the different, Kris Kringle, St. Nicholas, all that kind of stuff.
In the 19th century, were they still putting actual cocaine in the Coca-Cola?
Yes, they were.
Nice.
Yeah. So this movie is actually kind of heartfelt because it circles around Patch, who tries to be the head elf, and he fails. So he goes to America and teams up with a toy swindler, John Lithgow, who's very Dirk Dastardly, except without the mustache. Yeah. And I mean, they get to the point where they actually open up one of the dolls and shake it out. It's sawdust, glass, and nails. I mean, it's just ridiculous. He's in front of some sort of a court or something
It's
like
like that old skit on the original Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Dan Aykroyd. He's the toy guy, and he's getting interviewed, and they're like, your toys are dangerous to kids, and he's like, no, we're not. Matter of fact, we have this new product. It's called Bag of Glass. That's such a great skit.
But yeah, it's a very heartwarming thing. I grew up with it. It definitely parallels with A Christmas Story for me. So I won't go into that one because everybody knows that one. But I would definitely say Santa Claus the movie and A Christmas Story are my third favorites.
Okay, Larry.
Oh, so you threw another one in there?
Yeah, he did it at the last minute.
At the last possible second.
All right.
Because everybody knows A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah.
Third favorite, Die Hard. Die Hard.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
thank
Not
you.
as my third, but definitely.
It is. I will fight anybody all day. It's a Christmas movie, and not just because it takes place during the Christmas holiday. John McClane saves not only many lives at Nakatomi Plaza, but he saves Christmas.
But
That is
not
what
the
he does.
33rd floor.
No, he wasn't there to save a building, man. He was there to save people.
Interestingly enough, Larry, Die Hard was my third choice as well.
Oh!
And you know what? I have notes.
Oh!
Let's go.
All right. So this is from 1987. So Bruce Willis was still a relatively unknown actor at that
True
point.
story.
Right? He had Moonlighting, I think, and
Yep.
a couple other movies. So when they went to market the movie, it had just the picture of Nakatomi Plaza on it, which is actually the headquarters for 20th Century Fox.
Sure
In
enough.
Century City.
Yep.
Once the movie became a hit, they redid the marketing and put Bruce Willis's face on it, which is the only thing we see today, right?
Yeah.
But when it first came out, it didn't have his face on it.
Yeah.
So it was based on a book by Roderick Thorpe called Nothing Lasts Forever, right? And it's actually a sequel to a novel he wrote earlier called The Detective. And that was made into a movie starring Frank Sinatra, right?
Okay.
As Joe Leland, he was a hard cop. So 20th Century Fox was contractually obligated to offer the role to Frank Sinatra first when they decided to make this movie.
Is that right?
But he was in his 70s at the time, so of course he turned it down.
You want to jump out of a building, Frank?
And interestingly enough, even though that Nothing Lasts Forever was originally meant for Frank Sinatra, Clint Eastwood actually held the rights to this film in the 1980s. But his project never materialized, so then it was up for grabs, right? Other people they considered for this before Bruce Willis, because again he was basically an unknown at the time. Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Okay.
Burt Reynolds,
Oh, man. I would have watched that movie in a heartbeat.
Sylvester Stallone,
Okay.
Harrison Ford, and Richard Gere.
Man.
Richard was pretty popular back then. Officer and
was.
Gentleman, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but he was never an action hero. He was never an action hero.
So and also Hans Gruber was Alan Rickman's first major motion
it
picture
was.
role.
Yes.
It was. Yeah.
He played it beautifully.
Yeah.
And,
he was fantastic.
Another side note, the language, they were supposed to all be German, right? The language they were speaking in the movie is complete gibberish.
It's actually
Really?
not.
It's not German at all.
It
They
is. It is. Schießt dem Fenster is definitely shoot the glass.
Okay, but they had to go back and redo all of the language they did for the video releases for international. And to this day, Germany disclaims them, saying they're not German, they're unspecified European.
Well, I have to tell you that for my number 3, it was a toss-up because I love John McTiernan as a director, but I also love Rennie Harlan as a director. So my runner-up to the third spot was The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Really?
Yeah.
Great one. Gina
Also
Davis.
a Christmas movie. Gina Davis and Sam Jackson, who at that time was a relative unknown.
Yep.
It's a duck, not a dick.
So something I thought was really cool is, so you know at the end of the movie where Alan Rickman falls off the building?
Yep. When Christmas begins officially in America.
That scene,
I know what you're telling.
yeah.
I know the
so,
story.
So John McTiernan, he orchestrated the drop 1 second before he was supposed to go. So the reaction on his face is a genuine reaction. It's genuine surprise because, you know, they
He did not, and they were actually hanging him about 15 to 20 feet
yeah.
off of a scaffold.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to count it down to on 3. And then he went 1, pop, and they let him go.
Yeah.
So he absolutely did not know that was coming.
I knew about that one. I love that.
And something I kind of noticed, but I never really understood what I was watching. The scene where John McClane runs across the glass. If you look at Bruce Willis's feet, they're a little larger than normal.
Well, of course, they're Hobbit feet,
Yeah. What they did is they molded special shoes to look like his feet.
like they did in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yeah. And that part where he says yippee-ki-yay, that was completely ad-libbed. And Bruce Willis did it to kind of raise the spirits of the crew. It had been a long day, all that kind of stuff. And so, it stayed in the movie. And also the scene where Hans Gruber and John McClane meet on the roof, completely ad-lib between the two. Because they wanted to make it seem as natural as possible.
Yeah.
So,
Nice.
I mean, I would have questioned Bruce Willis in that, but Alan Rickman, no, that guy. I would have walked into any scene with Rickman and have the director go, "This is where it starts and this is where it needs to end," and I'm like, "Go, Alan."
Yeah.
Can I just sit here and stare at you? You're so good. So we both had Die Hard as our number 3.
Excellent.
And Bruce Willis claims it's not a Christmas movie, by the way.
Well, Bruce Willis
Like, he
can
doesn't
claim
know his
whatever he
ass from a
wants.
hole in the ground. What? Sorry.
I think he probably does.
Yeah. All right, number 2 for you, Micah. What you got?
All right. It's a tie.
Okay.
So Micah's top 3 is actually his top 6.
Nope. I actually have a winner for the first for number 1.
Okay. Top 5 then.
I have a tie. It is a tie between the very first Lethal Weapon and Trading Places
Ooh.
with Dan Aykroyd.
Interesting
and
choice.
and Eddie Murphy.
Yep. That's good. Both good ones.
Absolutely love both of those. I mean, Trading Places I must have watched a couple thousand times when it wasn't Christmas time, and then when I realized how much Christmas was going on, I was like, this needs to be played during Christmas more often.
Yeah.
And then being such, as we've discussed before, a massive Lethal Weapon fan, I mean, that's just easy.
I think it's interesting how movies that happen around Christmas time just automatically become Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, those each have their own theme to it.
And that goes all the way back to 1946, like A Wonderful Life. It was not meant to be a Christmas movie.
Right.
Why not? I mean, it's
Yeah,
there's
I know it
Christmas
happens around
decorations
Christmas
all the time.
It actually wasn't even released at Christmas. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't want to release it at Christmas. So yeah, it's just interesting to me that all these movies, just because there's some Christmas in the movie, it becomes a Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So,
Yeah.
I agree with you, though. To me, Lethal Weapon is always going to be a Christmas movie. I mean, there's that great, the very beginning scene. We're playing Jingle Bell Rock, and the poor girl just jumps to her death. And
Yeah.
that's what's more Christmas than that.
I mean, you've got
there
Hans
were
Gruber.
boobies. I don't know.
Yeah, you got Hans Gruber falling from a building. You've got a hooker falling from a building.
Yeah.
That just starts Christmas.
That,
apparently
apparently only in Los Angeles. Yes. That is when someone falls from a tall building, Christmas is on.
We're sitting there with a glass of champagne, just watching the buildings in downtown LA. And
Yeah.
when the first person drops from a building, Merry Christmas!
Where are you guys going to watch? I'm going to the Capitol Records building. Someone is definitely jumping off of that
Somebody
sucker
has
tonight.
to be dying there.
Wow.
He just wowed us.
Yeah.
I feel
Brent's
like
like, it's so dark.
I feel like I'm on the wrong show again. I don't.
Well,
All right, number 2 for you, son.
number 2 for me
just
is
called you
going
son.
He did. He called me son.
I don't know why I said that.
Even though I'm quite a few years older than him. Number 2 for me is probably going to be Elf.
God, do we have the same list?
No, come on,
You
seriously?
want to look at my phone?
No, I don't want to look at your phone because if we have the same number 1, I won't be 100% surprised, but I'll be a little bit surprised. Yes, Elf is my number 2. Now, Elf is my number 2 for sentimental reasons, not because I think it belongs number 2 all time, but because when my wife and I got together, she's got 2 sons, they're now my sons, and I've got my daughter, now her daughter also. That is the first Christmas movie we watched, and we were still dating at the time. That is the first Christmas movie we watched together, and it was awesome. Everyone had already seen it because it came out in like 2003, I think, and so we'd all already seen the movie, but it was like we were all sitting around the fireplace, and we were all in our pajamas. It was like, wow, it's Christmas Eve. We should watch a Christmas movie. And we all at the same time were like, well, let's watch Elf. Anyway, yes. So for very sentimental reasons, that is my number 2. Also, I just think Will Ferrell is a comedic genius.
Oh yeah, he's so funny.
And what I love about him is not necessarily that I think he's one of the funniest guys ever, but it's because of his 100% commitment
Yep.
to a role.
He actually walked around New York, frolicked, they say.
Yes,
around New York
City
In
in
that-
that costume.
in that costume.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
believe
and there were several times where he was interacting. I don't know if this is true or not, but I have read from several sources that several of his interactions on the street were not scripted and were not with other actors.
Right, exactly. They weren't, yeah.
So
Yeah.
that I mean, I just I'll always love that movie. It'll always remind me of the time that when we were a brand new family or becoming a brand new family, we were sitting around the fireplace in our pajamas watching Elf, and we were all laughing hysterically.
So, do you know who that role was offered to before Will Ferrell?
Hang
Adam
on. Sir Alec Guinness.
Adam Sandler.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Okay.
That is not surprising to me.
Not
Yeah.
surprising.
Yeah.
Did he turn it down, or what happened there?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know that what's funny is Will Ferrell actually, before he worked on SNL, he was actually a mall Santa.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I remember. Quick sidebar: do you guys know who David Sedaris is?
Yes.
So do you know who David Sedaris is?
Maybe. Give me a
Have you
reference.
ever listened or read what do they call them, the Santa Diaries?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Santa Diaries. Yeah.
So that was sort of his claim to fame because he was an elf at Bloomingdale's,
Okay.
and he wrote about the experience.
Yeah.
And it was not it was hysterical and very like, oh my God, I can't believe you had to endure that and do all of that, but it was very, very funny. But when I first watched Elf, I thought of the Santa Diaries,
Yeah.
and I thought like, well,
Well,
except in this case,
in,
Will was an actual elf from the North
all
Pole.
the North Pole scenes were heavily influenced by Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
they had all
yeah.
the stop motion stuff.
The stop motion.
Here's what I thought was funny. John Favreau played multiple roles in the film. So he played the doctor,
Yes.
right? He also played the voice of the narwhal.
Oh my gosh, I did not know
and
that.
He did the sounds for the rabid raccoon.
No way! I love it.
Yeah.
That's so Favreau, though. That's
Yeah.
and I love that Jimmy Caan was in that movie.
Yeah.
Sonny Corleone was the dad in the movie. This is so great.
I was
And
thinking
apparently,
about the dude from Misery.
Will Ferrell kept corpsing James Caan in the movie too.
Kept what?
Corpsing,
Corpsing?
breaking him, making him laugh.
I mean, that actually is shocking to me because I always heard that James Caan was one of those guys that he was very serious when he was on
Yeah.
set.
I think that's why it's such a big deal.
So
'cause
if
Will
you
Ferrell
can
kept
if you can
breaking
make him laugh, and then I also love the cameo by Pete Dinklage in that film.
Oh yeah,
That was so great.
that was so good. Call me Elf one more time. He's an angry elf.
And there's that great moment where they're in Bloomingdale's, and the guy is announcing that tomorrow Santa will be here, and Buddy just loses his shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God! That's what I meant about 100% commitment,
Oh, yeah.
because I have to believe that the take that we saw of that scene was not the first take.
Oh yeah.
Because I have to believe that when he did that, everybody on set just went, oh God, wow,
Yeah.
that was a lot.
And of course, there's the cameo by, I don't know if you call it a cameo because he actually had quite a few scenes, but Peter Billingsley, which is Ralphie from Christmas Story, was in there. Yeah.
Yep.
He played the head elf actually, right?
Yeah.
Bob Newhart played the head elf.
That's true. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Bob Newhart head elf. Yeah. No, Ralphie was in charge of production.
Yes.
Sorry, I
Inside
was
the
just
toy
being
factory.
agreeable.
Yeah. I was like, I have no idea what's going on right now.
No, I have to say that Elf is not in my normal rotation. I love that you have a personal connection to it that you can associate, and it definitely had its funny moments, but it's never really been in my normal Christmas rotation.
Yeah.
That was good. Let's talk about the first 30 Cigar Boys.
All right.
Whew. For some reason, that whiskey, that particular sip of whiskey, wanted a minute
Yeah.
before it went down.
Yeah. First third. Here we go.
I am liking this very much because we've got a higher proof whiskey than we had last episode, which I did on purpose because I knew you had a really dark cigar and I wanted it to balance out. And actually, one of the reasons I chose the Aladino Candela is because I did want to do something that was sort of on the other end of the spectrum for this episode. But I'm getting lovely notes of grass fresh cut grass and a little bit of floral, and I'm getting a creamy mouthfeel.
I was going to say milk chocolate. But like a very light milk chocolate.
Maybe a white chocolate.
Like if you like
Like a Hershey's Kiss at Christmas.
Like if you're making a glass of chocolate milk and you don't put enough Nestle Quick in there.
I've done that.
That's what I'm getting.
I get no chocolate off of this. It's all very earthy, very grassy, white pepper. Excuse me. And it's in my nose. It's like I was doing the retrohale and it's not leaving my nose.
That's world's finest chocolate right there. That's what that is.
the one that the kids sell at school.
Oh my gosh. As an aside.
Fundraisers.
Yeah, I sold those in high school back in the 80s.
Yeah, me
but
too.
back then they were $1 and they were like this big. They're still $1, but they've suffered from shrinkflation.
Yes.
And they're like these little thin bar
Yep.
things right now.
Like the Big Mac. I remember them being much, much larger, and now they're just like they cost like $7, and they're like a
also
I don't know, like a really long Kit Kat.
Also,
without
it's
wafers.
perspective because you were much smaller.
Yeah, you were smaller.
Okay.
True story. Shall we go to number 1? Is it time? And then we can just talk about
And then
honorable
we'll
mentions.
do some honorable mentions, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start with Micah because I, seriously am concerned at this point.
I want to see what you say.
You and I have never been this closely attuned in movies before.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
that's fascinating to
All
me.
right.
Michael,
felt
what is your number 1 movie?
I've never felt so apart from this episode.
It's okay, buddy.
All
We
right.
love you.
Well-
Not really.
All right, so I totally lied. It's a tie between two.
I knew
Good
it.
gosh.
So it was 6. So Micah's 3 top movies are 6
It's
movies.
a true story.
What are they?
All right. The first one, and I'm going to say this first because this is one that I watch on a regular, both of them I watch on a regular basis during Christmas, maybe twice each. The first one is called The Family Man
Okay.
with
Nick
Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
Okay.
And Tia Leone?
Tia Leone.
Yeah, Tia Leone.
Leone.
Yes, and it's like how you guys doing?
That is the proper way to say her name.
She says, "How you doing?" Doing fine. I've got more to say about this. And so, yeah, I love it because, and you'll notice the similarity there is that both of my number ones have similar storylines.
Well, you haven't told us you're the number 1 yet, though, so.
Well, yeah. No, I haven't. But I'm getting there. So, Family Man, wonderful story about a guy who makes a decision early in life, and he intercedes with a store holdup of
Yeah.
sorts.
Which is also a robbery.
But he's not really robbing anything. He just gets impatient because he's trying to turn over a lottery ticket, and the store owner racially profiles him, and Nicolas Cage gets involved.
Yeah.
And says, "I'm going to buy your lottery ticket for $20 less, and I'm going to make $20 off of this." And he intercedes. Turns out that Don Cheadle is they don't label him, but he's an angel.
Right.
And he decides to give Nicolas Cage a glimpse of what it would have been like if he had chosen a different path when he was starting his career. So now he's like a successful, rich businessman, and he gets a look at what his life would have been as if he had actually married his college girlfriend and lives that life
As a tire salesman.
as a tire salesman. But that's not the whole point. I mean, he gets to see what his life would have been, how his
Right.
life would have been enriched.
He was a much richer man.
Sounds like a hot
how
take
his
on
life would have been enriched if he had experienced the way he did. He had 2 kids. He fell in love with them in this short glimpse of a time, and then he's whipped back. He gets a chance later at the end of the film to get with Tia Leone again and kind of talk to her again.
And this is a
maybe
movie that
starting
just-
a new relationship.
This is a movie that just happens around Christmas, right?
It is during Christmas time.
Right.
it
Because-
sounds like a hot take on It's a Wonderful Life.
Which
it's a reverse
my
take.
other one.
Is
It's a
that
reverse
right?
take.
It's a
Okay.
Wonderful Life has been a mainstay in my family for years. I remember my uncle was a huge fan of the film. I watched it, absolutely fell in love with it. It sparked my interest in everything Jimmy Stewart. I mean, once
Stewart.
Yes, once I saw It's a Wonderful Life and fell in love with that, I needed to know everything about Jimmy Stewart and everything that he did. So it is that self-worth piece that people seem to forget about.
Yeah.
And during the holiday season seems to be a really good time for spiritual figures to come in and make you realize what what you missed.
Clarence AS2.
Yeah, and appreciate what you have, and that's one of the things of what you had. So it fits the same theme. That's why they're both my number ones.
Very well.
All right. Call. Well, It's a Wonderful Life is actually my number 5, so it goes in the purposes of this discussion, it goes into the honorable mention column. But it was actually my number 5. So I have some nerd facts about it in a minute.
Give us some nerd facts now. We're talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the $8,000 that gets lost in that movie, in today's dollars, it would be $140,000.
Oh my!
So quite a big deal.
Yeah.
That movie was developed. It was Frank Capra Studios, I think, bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It cost $3.7 million to make, and this is in 1946.
Wow.
It only made $3.3 million at the box office. So he
Yeah.
actually went into debt, and it wasn't until the 1970s. Actually, it was 1974, I think, when the copyright expired on it and it went into public domain, and TV stations started playing it all over the place. And between 70 and the 90s, that's when it became popular. Like when it came out, it wasn't popular, didn't do well, didn't get good critical reviews.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was not a success in any way. But of course, it's one of those that decades later became the hit it is now. Right.
Yeah, when nobody had to pay anybody for it.
Right. Exactly.
All right.
So, but the star of the show,
Jimmy Stewart.
thank you, says it's one of the best movies he ever made. And interesting. This movie was actually made in the middle of a heat wave. Like the snow that's used in that movie is actually a new snow that was invented, because up until that time, movies used painted cornflakes.
Oh, I thought it was soap shavings.
It's painted cornflakes, and Frank Capra said that's too loud and whatever. So he actually had them use foamite mixed with I think a sugar water.
Okay.
To make the new snow.
So I'm actually wondering if this was actually used in The Family Man as well. So I have been, as you know, I like to track down movie filming locations, and I have been having the hardest time tracking down where the house was that they lived in the glimpse, as it's referred to in the movie. And I found a Facebook conversation between locals in Teaneck, New Jersey, who said that there was no snow, and they were going out there with white tarps and fake snow and blanketing everything so that they could give the frozen
Well, that would
experience.
certainly lend credence to the expense of the film.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to make a winter movie in the middle of summer, speaking as a guy who's done that before, I shot a Christmas Walmart commercial years and years ago in August. And we shot in an old house, and it was me and my fake wife and my fake kids, and everything is done up Christmas, and we are all wearing like this kind of stuff, Christmas sweaters, and everybody's bundled up, and it's late August. And because it was an old house, the AC was loud, so they had to turn it off while we were shooting. And the biggest problem became
Sweating.
we were all sweating like Meatloaf at the Bat Out of Hell concert.
Yep.
And so it was, and I'll never forget, and I don't think he even watches the podcast, but I'm going to give a huge shout out to a good friend of mine by the name of Nori Niven. Nori was the director on that shoot, and Nori is a genius with children. And the reason he's a genius with children is because he does close-up magic tricks. And so we were losing the kids early on. They were hot, they were miserable, they were not happy. And between every take, Nori would come in and just get their attention and do some kind of magic trick that had all of the cast and crew enthralled, like, how the hell is he doing that? And he just was this magical, invigorating presence. And if you've never had to shoot what they call out of season, if you're shooting the opposite direction, it's not too bad. Because in between, if you're shooting a summer scene in winter, it's not too bad because you can always bundle up in between takes.
Yeah.
But I couldn't take my clothes off in between takes because that would be inappropriate. And it's just misery. You're hot and you're miserable and there's nothing you can do about it. And the poor hair and makeup people are coming in every 5 minutes to touch you up. And Nori made that he made it possible. But if you're saying that Teaneck, New Jersey?
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Which is a town I've never heard of, but now I need to go there because I just love that name. If they were shooting in spring or summer and having to make it look like winter, then suddenly the expense of that film makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah. It was actually during November, but yeah.
November?
No, it was a heat wave when they shot it.
Wow.
because there's actually scenes where you see George Bailey sweating. He's walking in the snow, but he's sweating.
I'm sorry. I'm talking about Family Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was filmed in late November, and the snow hadn't fallen yet.
So two other quick facts about It's a Wonderful Life. That the gym they're in when they're doing the dance,
Yes.
and the floor that covers the swimming pool,
Yeah.
that's an actual thing. It's Beverly Hills High School, and it's still in use today.
I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and there was a character, I think it's called Freddie Othello. He's the one that's mad that George Bailey's dancing with Mary.
Hey.
Yeah, and the other guy comes over and says, "Here's the key to the pool thing, right?" That guy that plays Freddie Othello, that's Carl Switzer, also known as Alfalfa.
Oh my
From the
gosh.
Little Rascals.
It
No.
is.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That is a cool piece of trivia right there.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't you stop bothering people?
Actually, Micah,
Well,
that
I
sounds
don't
like
know.
something you would say.
Yeah.
I can see Micah in a biker bar. Why don't you stop bothering people?
Then you see Micah flying out the front doors.
Yeah, well, out the glass front door or the window is what I would think. All right.
I ain't flying out nowhere. I'll be the one throwing people out.
Yeah, you will. Sure you will, buddy.
People telling me what I can do.
John Micah McClain
After
right there.
Micah's had a few glasses of that liquid courage.
I can hold my own.
Oh, my God. All right, so is it my turn for number one?
That was number one for you?
Yep.
Number one.
I'm really nervous about this.
I bet it's not the same.
Okay. My number one movie is from 1988.
Not the same.
Okay, good. It is a movie that I start watching almost immediately after Thanksgiving. It is a modern take on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol starring Bill Murray, and it's called Scrooge.
Yes. Love
That is
Scrooge.
100% my favorite Christmas movie. First of all, I just love Bill Murray. And there
Bitch
was
hit me with the toaster.
there was well, the cast of that film was just fantastic. I thought that Karen was fantastic. I thought that Carol was fantastic. The fact that he put his brother in the film, it just everything about it was such a good modern take on A Christmas Carol. And Bill Murray is just a genius. But what I love most about that film is his character arc and his transition and that great long monologue that he gives at the end. It brings me to tears
Which is
every
which is a
single time.
classic Bill Murray monologue.
Absolutely. It brings me to tears every single time.
Yeah.
And so that is 100% my favorite Christmas film.
I actually got to see that in the movie theaters. So that whole thing that
Yeah,
he's
so did
doing
I.
during the credits.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's talking about the other side of the theater, this side of the theater.
Yeah, were they doing it?
We were all participating.
Yes, we were too.
Oh,
It
nice.
was so much fun.
We were too. Absolutely. We were all singing along and basically taking direction from Bill Murray, who had shot that thing months before.
Yeah.
But I just enjoyed the hell out of it.
That seems like it would be a fun movie for Alamo Drafthouse.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like all the participation
Oh,
movies they
yeah.
have.
Yeah. Like the Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Oh, yeah.
but at
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah, so that is my favorite movie. But I'm so glad that we didn't pick the same film. Now I would like to know your number one.
My movie is from 2022.
Oh.
It's relatively new, and it knocked Elf out of the top spot.
That's a tall order.
So I saw the trailer for this movie,
Oh, I know what
and
it
at
is.
first I was like, "This is a joke,"
I know what it is.
and then I saw it again. I go, "Wait, this is a real thing," and then I was like, "Oh my gosh, please be everything I think it's going to be." And I saw the movie, and it was, and I fell in love, and it is my absolute number one movie.
And I know what it is.
I think I know too.
It's Violent Night.
It's Violent Night.
Violent Night.
David Harbour.
Okay, the only reason that hasn't made it into my top 3 is because I haven't seen the film yet.
Oh,
I was looking for it.
you have to see it.
It weirdly went off of all the streaming services like right around November.
Yeah, you have to pay for
And
it.
so I'm
Everything
I'm
that's
gonna
a
go
sale.
home
Worth
tonight
it.
and pay for it.
Yeah, it's
because
worth
I
it.
really, really, really want to see this movie. I've seen clips, I've seen the trailer, and I want to watch it.
It's all about the sledgehammer, man.
Oh my gosh.
It's all about the
Don't
sledgehammer.
spoil it for me.
No spoiler.
Then I can't talk about it.
Well, no, you can talk about it.
I have a couple things.
Talk about it.
A couple interesting trivia. So there's a part in there. So John Leguizamo plays the bad guy, right? And his name
yes.
is actually Scrooge in the movie. I think it's just a code name.
It is, and every
yeah.
single one of his henchmen have.
Yeah. So so there comes a point where David Harbour's Santa Claus and John Leguizamo's character are talking on a walkie-talkie, and he goes, what are you, like a security man that watched too many movies, too many action flicks?
Yeah.
Which harkens back to
Die Hard.
Die Hard, Alan Rickman. You're just another American who's seen too many.
Yeah, cowboy movies.
Cowboy movies,
John
yeah.
Wayne.
Yeah.
Actually, I was always a fan of Roy Rogers.
Actually,
Love those pearl snap shirts.
and the other thing was, so the bad guys come in under the guise of a catering company. They're at this rich woman's house, and the name of the catering company is Farkas and Dill.
Okay.
Those are the bullies in A Christmas Story.
Oh my God,
That's
you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scott Farkas.
Oh my God,
Farkas.
that's
his
so
yellow
awesome.
teeth. By God, he had yellow eyes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it for you because it's such a good movie. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you're going to love it. It's Santa Claus goes completely ninja on these people. Oh. And it's just
Not
Now
ninja.
I've actually heard.
Barbarian.
not ninja, barbarian. Yeah,
I've actually
barbarian.
heard that they're making a Violent Night too.
Are
Have
they?
you heard about this?
Oh,
yeah,
that'd be awesome.
I have. I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but it's definitely out there being pitched. And by the way, I love David Harbour.
Oh, me too.
I love
Me too.
David Harbour. Go back to when he was a relative unknown in want to say
Stranger Things?
no.
Before
Equalizer.
He was an equalizer. He was an equalizer.
I didn't know that.
He played a dirty Boston cop, and
Skinny
he played
David Harbour.
Yeah, and he was like, "I'm a cop," and he did the Boston thing so well. He played a very reprehensible character. And then of course Stranger Things,
Hellboy.
Yeah.
Hellboy. He
Yeah.
was the latest iteration of Hellboy.
Yep.
Although for my money, Ron Perlman.
Oh,
Just-
yeah.
yeah, just Ron Perlman.
I'm
Knuckle
sorry.
dragger.
David Harbour's best character ever, Red Guardian.
Oh yeah,
Red
yes,
Guardian.
absolutely. I'm so excited for Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Just-
Winter Soldier. I'm such a fan.
Guy is so cool. Guy's so cool.
So cool.
Captain America, he copied me.
But yeah, I'm super. I really seriously might just go home tonight and watch that movie.
Do it.
because
It's so much fun.
I can't because I'll be out on my balcony. I'll have a cigar. I'll have some more whiskey.
There's a lot I want to say
And a
about
space
it, but
heater.
I'm not. But I'm not going to because I don't. Want to
Oh,
spoil it for you.
man.
No, I don't want to spoil it for you at all.
I appreciate
because there's a
that.
twist in there. and-
Yeah, there's so much fun stuff. You're
it's-
gonna love it.
You're gonna love
Oh, I can't wait. I feel so far behind you guys on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just that my list is so damn long.
it. Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, and you guys are actually ridiculing me for actually doing 6.
Well, I had 5. So we want to do some honorable mentions.
had to do all the
Absolutely. Let's
ties.
go. Well, I think he probably blew all of his honorable mentions.
Oh, no.
Did you not? Okay.
I'm with
All
you.
right.
Well,
I can hang.
My honorable mention, I had It's a Wonderful Life. So we already talked about that.
Yeah.
The second one was A Christmas Story.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, and
mean,
I
that's-
loved A Christmas Story. There was so many wonderful things about it. This guy is telling a story about his family and growing up. And and you may actually have some facts on this one, but
I do.
Of course you did.
it was based on somebody's actual life.
Well, it's based on a short story. It's by Gene Shepard. It's called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. I remember that in the beginning of the credits, like the front credits. So good.
Yeah.
And this was actually a story about him and his family.
Yeah. So Peter Billingsley was actually the very first child to audition for Ralphie.
Yeah.
But they wanted to see more kids, and they actually went through thousands of kids, and then came right back to Peter Billingsley. Yeah.
Has
He
anybody
just had
seen-
such a great look. And then was it the triple dog dare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To put your tongue on the.
Oh,
it's so
by the
many-
way, that scene, they actually had a little mini suction tube there. That's how they stuck his tongue.
Yes. Okay.
So it didn't hurt him at all.
Right.
Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, they're." Because
I know. I was watching that thing, and I was like, "They are torturing." This is the '80s when they can
Yeah.
actually torture children.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, we don't know anything about child labor laws.
Oh my gosh! And didn't that guy turn out to be like a porn star for a while or something?
Did he? I don't know. I didn't look that up.
So that is a factoid that he did not come up with.
No, I mean like the guy that played the guy that got his tongue stuck to the pole, and then he was in The Toy.
He was in The Toy.
I don't know. Maybe that was just a high school or junior high rumor that came out or something. But I thought he ended up going that.
You know, it wasn't a Christmas movie. or maybe it was kind of a Christmas movie, but do you guys remember the Robin Williams movie Toys?
Yes.
Yes.
That was weird.
So
It was
bizarre.
weird, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Also, that was the movie that introduced me to the music of Enya.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the funeral procession, they're playing this ancient
Yeah.
Celtic poem that she did in Gaelic.
Yeah.
And it's I have a Celtic playlist and it's on there.
It
but
took me
I remember that.
like 2 or 3 watches back when it first came out because I saw it in the theater, and I mean, because of the cast that they had, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to be a part of this, and I absolutely did not get it the first time I watched it.
It's like they were trying to do a riff on Willy Wonka.
I guess.
He's this eccentric toy maker.
Well,
guy
it was
who-
very whimsical for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You know,
yeah, but technical at the same time.
I enjoyed it.
And then Joan Cusack's
Cusack.
role in it was she
and
was.
Don't tell me you didn't shed a tear when all those toys started dying in the Great Battle.
Of course I did. But I was already distraught because my brain could not attach to what they were trying to communicate with me. I was
Right.
like, you know what? I need to get in my Clockwork Orange and Brazil kind of
Right? Exactly.
mood to
Yeah.
actually appreciate what I'm watching here. Because
Be funny.
they're taking me for a ride.
Be funny in the credits. Written by Terry Gilliam.
Right. Son of a bitch. Another honorable mention I have, Home Alone.
Yeah.
I still have some facts about it, Christmas Story.
Okay, hit us.
yeah, hit it.
So it was not real soap they put in Raffi's mouth. That was wax. However, during
That
the
was
fight,
better?
during the
I
fight
know, right?
during the scene where he's envisioning playing fighting off Black Bart,
Yes.
that was real tobacco. They made him chew real tobacco, and they did multiple takes.
So he was high.
He was all kinds of happy.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my God.
I got a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas last year.
Did
I
you?
have one
Yes.
sitting over there. Actually,
Yeah?
I use it to shoot rabbits.
Thanks, PETA. You're not supporting the podcast
actually,
anymore.
the northern what are they called? The northern white-tailed rabbit. They're considered a nuisance here, so they're actually you can shoot them all year long.
Like kangaroos in Australia.
Sounds like Terrell and hogs.
Oh, feral hogs are always in season.
Yeah.
You just can't shoot them from your car. Some people try
I
to do
mean,
that.
you're not supposed
You're
to.
not supposed to.
Wait, can you have a cooler of Natty, like right on the side?
Okay, so another interesting thing. The dad, his name is never mentioned in the movie, right? And it's played by what's
Yeah,
his
they
name?
call him the old man.
Yeah, Gavin.
Oh my God.
You've got me on this one.
Oh no, God! I
he
should know who he is.
Yeah, he was the Darren McGavin.
Darren McGavin.
Yeah,
he
was
was in every single TV show in the 70s.
Night Stalker.
He was in Night Stalker. That was actually a great show.
Great show. Anyway, they originally wanted Jack Nicholson to play that part.
Oh!
But he had just won an Oscar and he became very expensive.
Was it for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, wow.
Yeah.
That was actually a while because, I mean, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was 1975.
Oh, that's right.
And the only reason I know that is
Christmas
because
Story is what, 1980?
that won Best Picture when I was born.
Christmas Story. Christmas Story is
Nobody? Really?
1983.
83.
1975
so-
Best Movie Oscar winner, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's
That's
Nest.
right.
It was the movie that won
There was another
the
one he
year
was
I
in.
was born.
There you go. There was another one he had just
No,
done.
Terms of Endearment.
Terms of Endearment. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Also, there's a deleted scene in that movie that's still in the original script where Ralphie is rescuing Flash Gordon from Ming the Merciless.
Nice.
Love it.
I would have
would've-
been on board with
That
that.
would have been such a cool scene if they
Yeah,
would have
you should have left that in.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, both Flash Gordon and Ming the Merciless are in the credits at the end of the movie.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Flash.
So
Yeah.
the Furnace. Oh gosh, one of the best soundtracks ever. I'm sorry.
Oh.
The movie was
Yeah.
so corny. However, Queen doing the soundtrack. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, and
Fight for every one of us.
yeah,
Fights for every one of us.
It's such a
Stands
good
for
movie.
every one of us.
So the furnace fight scene that Darren McGavin did, that was completely ad libbed. 100%.
Wow.
I love his bad language.
Yeah.
And can I tell you how many of my friends once a year pull out the stocking leg lampshade?
Okay. Next fact: if you watch the movie, when he takes the leg out of the crate, there's no electrical cord and there's no place to put a light bulb. But in the next scene, when the lampshade gets put on, magically there's a light bulb and an electric cord.
Hey, continuity was not a big deal
No,
back in
that's
the
how
80s,
lamps
bro.
worked in the 50s. Don't you know?
That's the other thing. The time frame is not really specific because whenever the mother mentions there's a football game between the Packers and somebody else that
Yes.
happened, I think, in 1941. The Dakota ring that Ralphie gets actually came out in 1940. And then there's a calendar on the wall that has a date on it that only happened in 1939.
Interesting.
And you wonder why we're nerds.
Yeah. Yeah. So the last thing I have is the mom. So at the end when they're in the Chinese restaurant.
Fa-ra-ra-ra-ra.
Fa-ra-ra-ra. No. Not fa-ra-ra.
Fa-la-la-la.
Fa-ra-ra-ra. So in that scene where the guy brings out the duck and chops off the head and her reaction, that's 100% real because they actually they wanted an original or a genuine response from her. So they gave her a different version of the script.
Oh, that's so
she
great.
She didn't know that was going to
Her
happen.
reaction looks so unbelievably real. Now I know why.
Did you guys ever watch a movie called Deliverance?
Yes.
Yeah, but do we have to talk about it today?
Well, because it dovetails into what he's saying, because I often wondered for that particular scene if they just didn't rip those 3 pages out of Ned Beatty's script and say, well, what we're doing today, Ned, is mostly improv. Yeah. So just kind of go with it. Like whatever's happening in the action, just go with it.
How are your farm animal sounds?
I don't have a cool lead in, but do we have something we want to talk about here?
The second, third. Still getting the milk chocolate.
No chocolate for me.
I'm getting a creamy, sort of a milkshake chocolate.
There you go.
I'm getting a creamy grass field.
It's like if I took some grass and put it in a blender.
Yeah.
I have to say,
more
a lot of Candelas, especially like the ones you're talking about that are super, super dark green and stuff, there's a harshness to them, right? But I think with this one is actually super mellow.
Yeah, it is.
It is
That was
mellow.
on purpose.
Although I am having to relight a lot. I notice all of us are having to relight a lot on this.
Well, I about
Because we're smoking slower?
5 minutes ago, I experienced a little bit of a tunnel, which, it happens from time to time. But if you catch it early, they're pretty easy to correct. Now, can I get to my honorable mention?
Yes.
Home Alone, 1990.
Yes, sorry.
Yep.
Yes.
That movie's become such it's a thing that other movies and television shows talk about. But at the time, I just thought it was, I thought Joe Pesci was so good in that movie, and then Daniel Stern were great. The great Catherine O'Hara, and the whole Rube Goldberg traps that he set up and everything was really funny. But then I also loved years and years later when Family Guy did a hot take. Do you remember that one?
No.
So it was the lead in was, oh, this is just like Home Alone if it was competent robbers. And so the robbers come in and they go, huh, be careful. There's toys all over the floor. Careful not to step on them. He goes, oh yeah. And the doorknob was really hot, so I just let go of it. And there's ice on the stairs to the attic, so let's just not go down there. And then all of a sudden, Kevin's at the top of the stairs. He goes, I just want you guys to know I've got a tarantula. The guy just pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head. He falls down the stairs and goes, and so now there's no witnesses.
Oh my God. So Home Alone was fun for me, but I have to say that Home Alone 2 for me was better than the first
Really?
one. Yeah. It was a little bit more touching. They had the thing with the old man and the 2 dove ornaments. And I remember my mother and I loving it so much that they actually released those ornaments that year to kind of partner with the movie sales.
Oh, okay.
And we had those on the tree for years.
Wow.
I love that. I'm going to tell you guys about a movie that Chris and I just watched a couple of nights ago. It was my second time to see it, and I just this second thought about it, and I do believe it deserves an honorable mention for a modern day, really funny Christmas movie. Is Bad Moms Christmas? Have you seen this one?
I've not seen it.
I haven't seen that.
I highly recommend it. Mila Kunis, Catherine Hahn, and oh my gosh, her name is escaping me
Is
at the
that
moment.
a spin-off though? I mean,
It's not a spin-off. It's a sequel.
That's what I was.
There was an
Bad
original
Moms, yeah.
Bad Moms.
I've seen Bad Moms.
And so it's those three characters. And by the way, Catherine Hahn is one of the funniest women
Oh my
on
gosh, yeah.
film,
Yeah.
without question.
Yeah.
But Bad Moms Christmas, because Mila Kunis's character, her mom shows up for Christmas, and she's played brilliantly by Christine Baranski.
Okay.
Who is
Yep.
just the most perfect woman ever, and she's rich, and she's doing all, and so they just, the moms themselves decided to take back Christmas, but we also get to meet now all the families of the moms.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
just hilarity ensues. I highly recommend you guys watch that. You will laugh your ass
Well,
off. Be a couple drinks in, and
Okay.
watch Bad Moms Christmas.
So let's move into a new segment, guilty pleasure Christmas movies.
Oh, jeez.
I've got mine lined up.
I mean, I would have said Home Alone because I kind of like that one, not as a guilty pleasure, but I don't know that in the holiday genre of films that I have a guilty. Oh well, okay, that's not true.
I knew we'd spark something.
I just thought of it.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
by all means, lead.
Any Hallmark Christmas movie ever. I love watching those because
I thought I was the girl.
no, it's
Oh, you're still the girl.
Yeah, I'm not so
it's
sure.
not-
No,
right now.
I'm 100% positive.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm in touch with my feminine side. It's because I can turn my brain off
Yes,
and just
which
have-
is what people want to do.
Yeah, and just have fun watching these ridiculous one of three plots movies.
This is how much of a girl, I'm sorry. This is how much in touch with your feminine side I believe you are. My daughter, who is 21 years old and lives in New York City, who's never met you, but because you're one of my best friends, I talk about you all the time.
Aw.
And so she called me as I was driving here tonight, and she said, "What are you guys going to talk about?" And I said, "Well, one of the episodes is top 5 Christmas movies." And this was the very next thing she said. She said, "I will be shocked if one of Micah's movies isn't Love Actually."
It is Love
Oh, it
Actually.
is.
Thank
Yeah,
you!
for sure.
100%.
Yeah, that
100%.
That
That's not
actually-
even guilty pleasure.
Yeah, no,
It's one of the best Christmas movies ever made.
that was
That
in
is
my,
how well my daughter knows
that
you,
was
bro.
in my top 5,
Thank you.
and then dropped out. It dropped out for other things, but I watch that every year. I love that movie.
There's so many. I mean, like you saw, I doubled up my first, second, and third, and there's so many other ones. I feel like if I had come to class a little bit more prepared, I would have had something a little bit better. But the thing is that Love Actually is like all around us. No, it is. It is so.
is all around us. Let's go, Tesla.
No. There's
No,
a song in there.
that's not
There's- Bill
how-
Nye. Bill Nye is an aging rock star.
Yes.
And he has a song,
Yep.
"Love Is All Around Us," and they try to turn it into "Christmas Is All Around Us."
Christmas is all around
Around
us. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I absolutely love anthology-related things like
Well,
that.
and plus, I mean, it's a star-studded cast. I mean, you got Bill Nye.
Yeah.
You got Alan Rickman. Mm-hmm. You have, I can never say his name, Ejiofor.
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 I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Andrew Lincoln. Keira Knightley.
Yeah.
Wasn't she like 19 when she made that movie?
I think something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's a Hobbit in that movie too.
Yep.
Elijah Wood?
No.
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 Ian Holm.
No.
No.
Martin Freeman.
Freeman.
Oh, Martin
From
Freeman.
the Hobbit movies. Martin Freeman plays, he and this girl play stand-ins for porno movies. Oh. Right? So they're like basically the close-up characters for the porno movies.
Yeah.
Testing lighting and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And so the whole time they're doing it, they're not really doing it, but they're just talking and having these normal conversations, and they end up, over the course of the movie, kind of falling in love. Right?
the end. How did you guys meet?
But I want to go back for a minute to the Hallmark movies because several years ago now, our family, because this is my wife's thing, right after Thanksgiving, she goes into full-on seasonal baking mode.
Yeah.
So not quite, but many nights out of every week, she is in the kitchen after dinner in the evening baking something awesome. Cookies or Buckeyes or, just some kind of holiday treats that we're
Buckeyes?
going to ship up. Yeah, Buckeyes.
Like from the tree?
Well, she's not making poisonous nuts, but there is a candy. If you're from Ohio, you know about it. It's
Yeah.
called a Buckeye.
Yeah.
So you know about the candy
My
Buckeye.
whole family's from Ohio.
Okay, so there you go. You know about Buckeyes. We actually have a shit ton of Buckeyes at our house right now. So if you want some, come on over because
I only
knows?
have one. It's one that my grandfather gave me when I was like 5, and I've been carrying it around in my jacket for years.
No, this is actually
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
Okay, not good.
All right.
Weirdo. Anyway, we came up with a game called Name the Plot because in every Hallmark movie
Yeah.
there's only 3 plots.
Yeah.
So the idea is to find out how quickly you can name the plot. Okay, it's okay, he's a widower, he's a single dad. This is his hometown. His high school girlfriend went off to the big city and became a big marketing executive. She gets trapped in the small town over Christmas. They fall in love. That's most of them.
Yeah. There's a that's one of the 3 plots.
Yes.
There's a funny it's become a meme, but I think originally it was posted by Babylon Bee, but it was like scientists are close to discovering a 4th plot.
Nice.
My favorite thing about that is the snow. Right?
Okay.
Because they shoot 100 movies a year.
Yes.
So they can't shoot them all in the winter. So most of the time the snow is like some cheap version of foam.
Yes.
Like they're walking down the street.
You
and
can tell.
You can tell. It's just like dripping off the trees. It's so gross. And I saw one time where they literally carried around pieces of like the white cottony stuff you put down, like if you're going to do like a nativity scene or something, whatever. They were literally just carrying around the same 3 pieces and just throwing them on the ground in random places for every scene. It was so funny. And then there's a close up of this one girl, and she's like in a cabin on a balcony ledge, and you can literally see where they've stapled it to the railing. It's so funny. It's just hilarious.
Well, you talk about guilty pleasure movies. A few years ago, when all my kids were still, but before they went off to college, we sort of made it a mission one year to find the worst Christmas movie.
We have it.
And so we found our worst Christmas movie, and it is called Journey to the Christmas Star. This is a film that was actually done by Disney in Finland, and it is dubbed into English, and it is about this girl who very young was a princess. She got carried off into the woods to be abandoned by the evil stepmother. And now, she when she went, Christmas went with her. The Christmas star disappeared out of the sky.
Oh no!
I've seen parallels with Rapunzel.
And it is the worst produced, worst dubbed movie you have ever seen, and it's so bad that it is highly enjoyable.
All right.
And every year, and so not only did we start watching it every year, but then as the kids got older and started to get boyfriends and girlfriends, part of the ritual was they have to come over and watch Journey to the Christmas Star. And if they don't find it funny, they gotta go.
Oh my gosh.
They're not,
Yep.
they will never understand the humor of this family.
Yeah.
They can no longer be a part of it. They gotta go.
That's a valid test.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Journey to the Christmas Star, if you've never seen it, watch it.
We are in agreement.
You will hate it.
I got a
and
guilty
love
pleasure. I got a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Krampus.
Oh, Krampus.
Yeah.
I spend every year watching it by myself. People will be in the house and they'll be doing their own thing, and somebody says, "Let's watch a Christmas movie," and I'm like, "It's time to watch Krampus!" Boom, and everybody
Disappears.
they all have something to do.
Daddy wants to watch his shows.
There's something about the now I've read up a little bit about the history of Krampus or Krampus actually.
Krampus.
And I'm sure that you guys can probably give me a little bit more information on this. But the guy that plays in most of the Michael Schur sitcoms, he's a mainstay. And he played Leslie Knope's boyfriend in Parks and Rec. But he's the main character. And I can't remember his name, but he's the one. And that whole if you're bad. And his little toys and ginger men and everything that just torment this family. And you find out in the end that they're all...
Adam Scott.
Oh, okay.
And they're all in a Christmas globe. And they're living out this horror experience inside of a Christmas globe for eternity.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, I do like that movie.
Do you have any history on Krampus? You can.
It's at one point I did, but I'm at that age,
he
Micah,
steals
where
bad children.
new information is coming in
Yeah.
and old information has got to go away. So,
All right, fair enough.
Disc is full, all the time.
Okay.
So technically, since our only qualification to be a Christmas movie is it has to happen around Christmas time.
Yes.
Wasn't Gremlins a Christmas movie?
It
Totally
was
was.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yep.
Love that. Fun fact. That was shot on the Warner Brothers studio, and 1 year later, so was Back to the Future.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So back-
okay.
wait, so wait.
Don't minimize this.
I'm not-
So
It
back,
was
so Back to the
what's the
Future was
tie-in?
85,
that
right?
that town square that they use in Back to the Future is the exact same one.
Oh, okay.
That William Peltzer is working at the bank on the corner, which is actually the Cafe 80s in Back to the Future.
Oh,
Okay.
funny.
Or the workout studio that Marty McFly waves at as he's going past. But definitely Gremlins. We can just pretend that Gremlins 2 never happened, but
He's a Gremlins purist.
Hey, I feel the same way about Godfather 3, so I'm with you.
yeah.
Some movies should never have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Godfather 2, though. Oh. Right? Thank
Yeah,
you.
so good. Not a Christmas movie though.
Not a Christmas movie.
Although,
Is there any Christmas in that at all?
No.
in Godfather there is.
Yeah. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, Godfather's a Christmas movie.
I've got a whole lineup of these different things in my head, and I'm like, they've been. We talked about trading places for a brief moment, but all of Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Anybody want to help me with my hoopsack? They're Swedish meatballs. Horrible accents, wonderful played. Oh my gosh! And then they had what was it? The two old guys that own the company in Trading Places.
Yeah.
And they were actually doing the bet,
Yeah.
the $1 bet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm trying to remember, there was another movie that came out later, and I'm hoping that maybe one of you guys can spot me on this. But something happened. It was either Bill Murray or it was Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, and he hands them a big stack of money. Those two guys, because they're
Oh, that's
hobos,
right. Yeah,
they're
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
in the
Yeah.
gutter.
Yeah.
And he goes,
I forgot about that payoff.
He's like, Waldorf or whatever his name was. He's like,
yeah.
we're back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I remember that
totally
one.
forgot
Wonderful
about
nod
that.
to Trading
Yep.
Places.
Yep. Yep.
And oh my gosh, what was it? It was Dan Aykroyd, and he's dressed up as the Santa, and he's drunk off his ass, and he gets the big salmon, and he stuffs it in his coat,
his coat.
and he's going down the street, and he
gets
pulls
his
it out,
beard in it.
and he's like,
Well, speaking of which, what about Bad Santa? Did you guys ever see that?
Oh,
one?
yeah.
I
with
did.
Billy Bob.
I did. I didn't get any. I don't know what I was looking for in that film.
Okay.
Emotionally, I watched it, and I was like,
You don't have to be attached to it. It's just an entertainment.
do you even know me?
Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry.
Girl.
Yeah.
Thank you. Proudly.
Oh man.
All right.
So many Christmas movies.
We brought it up earlier, but we didn't talk about it. Is the Santa Claus?
Oh.
The whole with Tim Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that first movie was absolutely genius. It was so well put together, so well written, and it was not written for kids. It was written for adults. And then it made so much money, and it became so popular that they decided to do 2 and 3,
They did a franchise,
which
yeah.
I can do without. But I can tell you that if you're interested, the series that came out called The Santa Clauses or something like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I remember
There was a
that.
series that came out, and the first couple episodes, not so great, but it actually gets into why Tim Allen was chosen. And I'm not going to spoil it or anything.
Well, he killed Santa and picked up his suit.
Yes. Yes, but.
Yes, and
Yes, and it actually gave more backstory on why Tim Allen, specifically his character, was supposed to be Santa in the first place. And they made a wraparound connection to it that was actually a little bit of a little punch in the heart. It was good.
oh,
So check it out. If you
I've
haven't.
never been a big Tim Allen fan, so I think that's probably why. I be honest with you, I know I've seen the Santa Claus once and probably just once, because I was just never got into his humor, so it wasn't a big thing for me. And I know that we've talked about this in a previous episode, but I mean, I literally grew up on all those, Rankin Bass holiday specials. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Year Without a Santa Claus, still the best one in my opinion because of the greatest musical number in the history of musical numbers, Snow Miser and Heat Miser. So those were, they were on TV, so technically they weren't movies, but they were still some of my absolute favorites. They were the ones that I went to every single year.
And I'll expand on that because while those were part of my childhood too, get into the middle 80s and you had Garfield Christmas.
Yeah.
You had Claymation Christmas Celebration.
He-Man Christmas.
That I do not remember.
He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we going to talk about the unforbidden topic?
Yes,
forbidden topic.
we are.
Not the unforbidden.
Oh, the forbidden topic.
We are talking about the forbidden topic.
All right, let's talk about it.
By the way, I got super excited this evening before I came over here because I thought for a second and a half that I'd actually found the Star Wars holiday special
I have it on my laptop.
on Disney.
Oh no.
But no, it was the Star Wars holiday Lego special.
Which is still it's entertaining.
You've seen that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The Star Wars holiday episode.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
let's talk about it.
Okay. You start.
It sucked.
Well, of course
It was the weirdest thing
Duh.
ever. Harvey Korman playing this multi-armed like Julia Childs type character.
Yes.
Was just the weirdest thing ever. And what was the grandpa? What was his name? I forgot. The grandpa Wookiee. What the heck was he watching?
Oh, it was so bad. And like clearly everyone in it, like every scene, you could just tell, wow, we're here for the money.
Yeah.
We're not here because we enjoy this.
How much are you going to
This
pay
is
me?
just-
I guess I'll
it's
do
so
it.
awful. It was like, oh man.
I think it's more that George Lucas owned them at the time.
Oh
And
yeah,
had to do
100%. 100%.
But,
We mentioned in the previous episode we were talking about Star Wars movies 7, 8, 9. But you mentioned that Peter Mayhew and Carrie Fisher had this lovely relationship, and I remember very clearly. There's a black and white photo, and I think it was from the first one, where they're both out of costume, and he's literally holding her like a baby.
Yeah.
And it's just the cutest thing in the world.
And Angie, Peter's wife, had made comments that if there's something going on here, we need to know here.
I don't. She ever knew that. She
was
knew-
a joke.
it
was totally a joke.
So
Well, it was a joke. However, before Carrie passed away, I saw her on the Graham Norton show with Daisy Ridley, and they're talking about making the post schools together. We're off topic now, just so you know, but we'll get back to it. But Graham says, "Well, Carrie, there was a piece of advice that you gave Daisy, wasn't there?" And Daisy goes, "You want to tell him?" And Carrie said, "I said to her on the first day, don't go through the crew like wildfire." Because that's what she did in the 70s.
She was crazy. Yeah.
And when you say go through,
Yeah. Go through.
that's
them.
what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She was like that.
She was young and virile and
Full of drugs.
enjoying her life.
All right. So Star Wars Christmas special.
Yep.
I thought at one time we might do a whole episode on this, but it's really just too painful. Especially at the end when they're all singing. Now, Carrie Fisher actually had a really nice voice. She grew up doing shows with her mom, Debbie Reynolds.
Debbie Reynolds, yeah.
Yeah. But the song they gave them to sing at the end for the Life Day, come on. So ridiculous.
Oh, so bad. Yeah, I think every hardcore Star Wars fan just went, what?
The only good thing that came
What?
out of the Star Wars holiday special was we got to meet Boba Fett for the first time.
Yes. And that did not make up for everything else that happened in that special.
It didn't, but at least something good came out of it.
Now, guys, help me out here because I may be remembering this differently. Did Kiss do a holiday special?
Yes.
Okay.
Kiss Saves Christmas.
Kiss Saves Christmas. Okay, I didn't. So that wasn't something I made up in my
No,
head.
that is not a
oh,
fever
I'm
dream.
so happy.
Not a fever dream.
Oh, thank goodness. I've had so many of them, but I'm so glad that was not one of them. That is the thing that actually happened. Kiss Saves Christmas. Well, I would like to talk about, it was a TV special that was made after the album was made. Mr. Hankey's Christmas Classics.
Oh, so good.
Just love it to death. So that's South Park. If you've
Ding
never
dong, ding dong.
Mr. Garrison.
No, Mr. Mackey.
Oh, that was Mr. Mackey. That's right.
Sing Carol of the Bells. Here come the bells, sing the bells.
But that all started from the I think that was first season South Park where they did the Christmas episode.
Yeah, and Cartman's song. He sings "Oh Holy Night."
Holy night,
Yeah.
something, something, something.
Oh night, did I get presents?
Yeah.
That's so good.
But after, so they did that, and then they released an album called Mr. Hankey's Christmas Classics, which included Mr. Hankey the Christmas Poo and Carol of the Bells, and Who the Hell's Child Is This? Chef sang that one.
I love Mr. Hankey. Mr. Hankey, the Christmas Poo. He loves me. I love you.
Therefore, vicariously, he loves you. I can make a Mr. Hankey too. Yeah. But then they actually went and did like they did a Mr. Hankey special.
Yeah.
Where they took many, not all of the songs on the album, but many of them and animated them.
Yeah.
So like Christmas Time in Hell was a big one. That was fun.
Oh my gosh.
Because it starts with Hitler in hell singing "O Tannenbaum,
Yeah.
O
Oh,
Tannenbaum."
Yeah.
There is one big movie we have not talked about. We need to talk about at length. Christmas Vacation.
Oh, yep.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, yes.
How can we forget that one?
Oh my gosh. I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm forgetting something. I'm forgetting one. And this is my wife's all-time favorite. I mean, so my wife, she makes the bird at Thanksgiving every year.
Yeah.
Usually she makes the feast because I'm in charge of the feast on Christmas. So she's in charge of the feast on Thanksgiving. When everybody has left, literally, that movie goes on and Christmas has started in our house. Christmas Vacation starts and everything about that movie is wonderful. All the jokes, all the little things that go in there. I mean, there are times when we are talking, we improvise this line constantly for all kinds of "Don't throw me down the stairs, Aunt Bethany. I'll try not to." Wait, no. Don't throw me down the stairs, clock. I'll try not to, Aunt Bethany. And my wife will say something like, similar, and it'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one definitely belongs on the list. I think I actually was considering that, and honestly, it lost out to Die Hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite moments out of Christmas Story, Brent? Not Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation.
Christmas Vacation. I love it when the cat gets fried.
She wrapped up her damn cat. This one's leaking. It's lime. We really want to give the kids a good Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's a little list.
Yeah. I love it when Cousin Eddie is in the house drinking eggnog with Clark. And he's got that little what do you call that thing? That little flap thing in his shirt. He's like wearing a tight blue sweater, but he's got
Like a
one of
cravat?
like
Yeah.
a collar, like a hard collar.
Yeah, cravat. I
Cravat,
think it's
yeah.
Cravat.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going for quite a while here, boys.
My
Yeah.
butt's hurting this episode. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Well, we can wrap it up.
I don't know
We
if
can
you
talk
noticed,
about
I've been shifting quite a bit.
Mike is definitely on the final third, so
Yep.
he can give us his notes. And
Yeah, I
we'll
don't
just
have
believe him.
anything new to add to this cigar. Not one of my favorites, but it's very very pleasant. It's very smooth, slightly peppery.
He's trying so hard to be nice right now.
Maintains that grassy all the way through. I wish I was picking up more notes. I'm not.
I tell you what, this would be a great cigar with a cup of coffee.
Agreed.
This is a morning cigar.
Yeah.
Also, yes.
Yeah.
I love that you were trying very hard to say something nice. I would give you the advice.
I don't hate it.
I would give you the advice that my Irish grandmother gave me, which is, if you can't find something nice to say about someone, let's you and me get a table together.
I mean, as you can see, I haven't stopped smoking. If I truly disliked it, I would have been, "This is great, Larry."
Yeah, you wouldn't have hurt my feelings. But I would have slashed your tires.
I was going to say, take a page from the Larry playbook.
It's a really.
I do not like this place.
Actually, he's only done that once with like one of my all-time favorites.
Yes.
Stung a little bit, but I got through it.
Like
Cried
I said,
all the way
man,
home, but whatever.
You do that anyway.
Yeah,
on your way
said.
to McDonald's.
All right, well, let's wrap this up.
All right, well, let's wrap this up. Guys, hope you've had a Merry Christmas. Thank you. This is our last episode of the year. We will be back in 2025. I say that with certainty, not knowing at all if we're going to be back in 2025. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I'm just
we'll be back.
joking. We've decided that we like doing this too much to stop doing it.
Yeah.
So we will be back in 2025. If you have been on from the beginning, thank you so much for your support.
Yep.
Tell all your friends. Just let everybody know that we exist and we're out here. And thank you again so much for the support you've given us throughout this entire year.
Absolutely.
It's been amazing.
Yep.
And we're just going to say Merry Christmas. We've been talking about our favorite Christmas movies. I don't think there is at this point a Christmas movie that we didn't talk about, but if we didn't
There's
one,
lots of them.
if we missed one that's your favorite, hit us up in the comments section on YouTube. Hit us up on nerdherfers.com. We hope you guys have a very happy holiday and a very Merry Christmas. We will see you again in the new year. I'm Larry Brantley with Micah Donahoe.
Live long and prosper.
And Brent Williams.
I'm going to go off script. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. See you next year.
Exactly what he said. Thank you guys so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
This has been a production of Nerdherfers, copyright 2024, all rights reserved. No portion of this broadcast may be used without permission. Please visit nerdherfers.com for more information and full legal disclaimer, you nerd.